Good morning, students. We are going to implement the stack that we have discussed in the last class. I'm going to implement it in a very simple way today. Okay, let us see that how the stack is implemented as a last in, first out data structure. First of all, let me define the size of the array I'm going to use. In other words, let me decide how many elements I can keep in my stack. For that, let me define a constant value max equal to, let me say I am going to keep some 20 values. Okay. Then let me define class for the stack. I call it a stack type. Then let me define the private members of that stack. I am going to define two variables top. I told you already that the variable top will tell you where the topmost element of the stack is in my array. So I define it as top. Then I define the array in which my stack elements are going to be kept. I call that as a info. Let me define that, give the size as max, which I have given already. Then I go for the functions of this stack that are defined in the public access specifier. Okay. Now I have to define my constructor. The name of the class is stack type, so the constructor name is stack type. Then other members of this class, I want to know whether my stack is empty or not. So I make it as a integer return type. So is empty. That is the function. Then I want to know whether my stack is full or not. So is full. Is full. Then I want to know, I want to define how to insert values into my stack. So I call that function as void push. Then I want to remove values from the stack. So I call it as return type void pop. Then I want to display the contents of the stack. So PAS, PLAY. Then these are the class definition for myself. Now I am going to implement all these things here now. First, let me define the constructor. The name of the constructor is stack type. What does it do? It initializes private members. So my private member is top. So I told you in the last class that the constructor is automatically executed when the object is defined. For the class is defined. So when you declare an object for the class stack type, you are creating a empty stack. So in the beginning, the private member top should be pointing -1, should be having the value -1. Then only a empty stack is created. So I said top is equal to -1. Top is equal to -1. With this, my constructor is over. Then I define other functions ECMT. My ECMT function is available in the class stack type and it is returning a integer type int. It is available in the stack class stack type is containing ty. So how do I know whether my stack is empty or not? So if my top is equal to -1, I can say my stack is empty. Otherwise, it is not empty. So simply I say return top equal to -1. What happens? It is a conditional equality operator. So if top happens to be -1, it will return the value of 1. Otherwise, it will return the value of 0. It will return the value of 0. Similarly, I want to know whether my stack is full or not. So here also I'm checking stack type is available in is full is available in stack type. And then when do you say the stack is full? When top is equal to maximum index. So the maximum index is available at max -1 because the array indexes are starting from 0, 0. So the maximum index the top value can hold is max -1. So return top is equal to max -1. So it will check whether my stack is empty or not. Next, let me define the next function, push. Okay. Push is returning a void type. So void is available in the class stack type. Okay. Then I define cin. Yeah, we are storing the values in the info array. So what I told you in the last class, to insert a value into the stack, first of all, you should increment the top by 1. See, so I can, it will be like, that's all. Get the value in the incremented location of top. Similarly, I want to top void stack type. You can top out a value which is pointed by top. So after removing the topmost value, you should decrement the top by 1. So see out info of top minus minus. So what happens now is the top value available in the info array is picked up and displayed. After displaying that, top is decremented by 1. Top is decremented by 1. That's all. Next, we write a function for display. The display should be in the last in, first out order. The last value that is pushed in is pointed by top. So from the index which is pointed by top up to the 0th index, you display the contents of info array. That will display the contents of stack. So void which is available in the stack type display. A simple loop is enough to traverse the top from the index it is pointing up to the 0th index. For int I equal to top, I greater than or equal to 0, I minus minus, I minus minus. What I do, I display the contents of the stack. So see out info of A. That's all. Now what happens? I get the value of top, then info of I is displayed. That is the first value, the topmost value is displayed, then I is decremented by 1. So what happens? The next value is displayed, I is decremented by 1, next value is displayed like this. It will keep on going until I becomes equal to 0. Then the last value also displayed. Then I is decremented. Now I is not greater than or equal to 0. It becomes negative. So the loop is terminated. When the loop got terminated, you have already displayed the contents. So we have written enough all the member functions of the class. Now we have to create an object for the class in the main function. Then using that object, we will access all these functions. That is the thing to be done now. Void main. So what is the name of the class? The name of the class is stack type. the object. Let me call that object name as yes. Object name yes. Then I want to access all these uh, member functions. So I will be using a switch case statement to display the menu that displays various operations that to be performed. Then that switch case will be put into a do while loop so that all the operations will be executed as per the menu. Okay, for that I need a local another variable. Maybe I call it as ch. Then I display what are the things to be done. See out. Checking whether the stack is empty check. Then see out. Full check. Then I want to push a value. So then I want to copy a value. I want to display the contents of that stack. So these are the menu I will be displaying. Then I want to get the value for cn ch. Then depending on the option, I'm selecting the switch statement. Case 1. If simply, what is the case 1? Checking empty check. How do you check the emptiness of your stack? By calling this function is empty. So this will return me whether my stack is empty or not. So how do you call that is empty? Through the object. If s dot is empty is equal to 1, then I would say it is a empty stack. Otherwise, else empty stack. Then case 2, I will end up with the optional break statement. Case 2, I'm checking whether my stack is full or not. Same is the same logic with a different call. Is full is equal to 1. Cout full stack else cout not full stack. So we have written two functions. One is checking whether my stack is empty or not, checking whether my stack is full or not. Next, we are going to define the call the function um, pushing a value, and after that removing a value. So when you try to push a value, first of all, you should ensure that the stack is not already full. Okay, so I have a ready-made function called useful that we have a function called useful that will tell me whether my stack is full or not. I am going to use that function here. Case 3, if is full is equal to 0, that means the stack is not full. Then I will call the function push through the object start push. That's all. Break. Here also I should have given the break. Okay. Then similarly, I want to remove a value from the stack. Case 4. Before removing a value, I should ensure that the stack is not empty already. So if it is empty, nothing can be popped out from the stack. So we have a function that checks whether the stack is empty or not. It's empty equal to 0. Then we can remove a value from the stack. So s dot pop break. Then I want to display my contents of the stack. Case 5, just a call to the display function that we have defined already. S dot break. So these are the operations that I do that we do when in a function. So this will be repeated as in the do while loop, do while ch is then maybe 6. Okay. So we have successfully written the function. Of course, these things has to be corrected. Switch statement. Here also small. So some syntax errors, this has to be corrected. Okay. Now what happens is when we trace this implementation again, I define a function, then I define a stack type, I define the constructor, then I define a method that checks whether my stack is empty or not. Then I define a method that checks whether my stack is full or not. Then I define a function for push. Then we define a function for pop, display. All the member functions of the class are displayed. Then we go for main. There we declare an object S for the class stack type. Then I define a local variable ch. Okay, it's a do while loop that will display this main menu continuously. I get the value for this ch. When the ch is equal to 1, I check whether the stack is empty or not. When the ch is equal to 2, I check whether my stack is full or not. When ch is equal to 3, I'm checking, I push a value into the stack. Before that, I check whether the stack is not full or not. Similarly, when ch is equal to 4, I remove the value. Before that, I check whether the stack is not empty already. Then I display the contents. These are the things that we have implemented now. Rest of the things we will discuss in the coming class.